Fleischman.
I'm Eric Perry.
And we've been cooking barbecue for a handful, 5 years together.
Yep.
We've both had the opportunity to be named as Pitmasters, recognized as in the top 50 of the Pitmasters in the state of Texas. Was recognized by Southern Living magazine as one of the top 10 Pitmasters in the South in 2010. And I guess our food speaks for itself. Add that and we're ruggedly handsome.
Correct.
Opportunity to cook on the PitViper L. We've run it through its paces. This cabinet smoker, as opposed to a traditional offset smoker, uses a water pan inside where the fire is built directly below, or the firebox is directly below. So the water pan is going to be how the heat is diverted from directly cooking the meat. And the smoke is going to surround the water pan and move through these large size smoke holes or air holes on the edges of the water pan and rise up into the cabinet. Now the insulation on the PitViper has been outstanding. We were able to, in running it through its paces, we were able to cook simultaneously a 22-pound shoulder clod and a 14-plus pound brisket, both of them untrimmed in their entirety, in various rack heights. And we finished that shoulder clod in about 10 hours. That's absolutely unheard of for a piece of meat that large. That's typically about a 20-hour cook on a traditional offset pit. And the brisket finished in around 9.5 hours. And those were to temp with the instant read thermometer, as well as using the attached probe. The probe we found to be reliable and met both instant read thermometers we used. And the alarm feature, while we didn't necessarily want to fall in love with an alarm feature because we're not alarm clock type of guys, it let us know when the target temps we had set it at were being achieved. We were also paying attention to the exterior thermometer, and we found that after an initial getting started period with the water heated up and the like, that the exterior thermometer and the digital probe were in unison, synced up. So it gave us a sense of being able to, I don't know, sit back and relax a little bit.
Forget it if you may.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to watch it a little bit. One of the coolest things I've found on it, besides the heavy-duty door and the latch, is you got a bunch of rat kids running around. They're not going to be able to come over here and yank this thing open. They actually have to. You have to pull on it. You do it with a sense of purpose. The airflow. What I also liked about the firebox under the water pan has a separate charcoal pan and a wood rack on top of it. It's got a built-in fan, so whatever you set little digerizer to, that temperature, once it senses with the probe inside, gets below that temperature, it kicks on a fan. It goes down into the charcoal pan. More airflow to charcoal, right? It gets hotter. Keeps that wood hot at pretty much certain temp. It worked out really well.
The ramping feature on the digital system kept us right at our target temperature, and the fan would stop blowing 20 to 25 degrees below that target temperature and would allow the wood naturally to come up to temp. So it held temp with very little fluctuation, and the amount of fuel that we needed to use in this, in terms of charcoal and wood chunks, as compared to a traditional offset, would be less than 1/3 of what we would have needed in a traditional offset. We didn't have to schlep around and find custom cut chunks of firewood. We were able to use medium-sized dried or seasoned oak and some hardwood charcoal in here. And 3 times throughout that brisket and shoulder cook, we found ourselves needing to add fuel. And it's quite easy. We had this slick little tool made so we can move the charcoal pan inside and out. And the amount of ash also, after doing one 10-hour cook, the amount of ash that we needed to scoop out or to clean out was minimal. It was less than 2 cups of ash that came out of the charcoal pan, which is remarkable when you consider traditional offset pit. We're using 1/3 more fuel. You have that much more ash, and the more ash buildup you have, the less airflow you have on the coals in your fire, so you have less efficient heating of your pit. So again, the PitViper was super efficient in terms of its insulation, its overall temperature holding. The airflow was outstanding, despite the fact that we were cooking in both windy and then rainy conditions. it showed what it's made of and how two idiots like us can make it work. The charcoal pan below the wood rack, we simply lined it with hardwood charcoal and took our Home Depot propane torch to get all of that charcoal lit, and then we simply slid it in easily in the slot that it's designed for, and we set our wood on top to smolder. And then we closed that door and forgot about the fuel for a minimum of 3 hours.
Yeah, and that's coming from a background where we do this every day for a living. And the lay guy that watches too much barbecue TV has his chimney starter. It'd work perfect for that too, because you can slide the pan out right before you load the wood rack, and they separate, so you can leave that wood rack off if you so choose. Pour your started coals out of your chimney starter, bam, slide it right back in, ready to go.
Yeah, it was really no muss, no fuss.
Yeah.
We didn't feel the need to have to use lighter fluid, etc. I suppose if a person wanted to start it with a electric coil charcoal starter, that would be just fine too, because the ease of pulling the charcoal pan out and lining it, and it's a very small amount of charcoal. It's really no more than 4 man-sized handfuls of charcoal that you need to get it started.
Yeah, any layperson that considers himself a backyard pitmaster, whatever you want to call it, if you can operate semi-efficiently a Weber kettle grill or whatever it is you think you can do this with, it's a little easier to meet, actually.
I'm Fleischman, Texas Barbecue Pitmaster, and I endorse the BlackIron BBQ PitViper series of smokers.